All right, hey everybody, welcome out to the show today. No intro or anything. Didn't feel like it was necessarily a right way to start the show. Hopefully you guys understand. Obviously a much different show than what we're used to doing after all the insanity that's happened in the world over the last, well, really week, 4 years, decade, and it just kind of all culminated yesterday. And we all kind of know what happened with Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I did a stream yesterday for about 90 minutes or so, just kind of talking through as more information was popping in and out. And it was a really raw reaction to things as they were happening. At that point, Charlie Kirk was still alive, and he passed actually, well, it was announced he passed while we were live. A lot has changed. There's been a lot of reaction over the last 24 hours, 18 hours or so since it happened. A lot of rage, a lot of confusion, a lot of sadness. And I figure that's what we do today. We would just sit down and more or less decompress. And, you know, there's a lot of people who didn't feel comfortable doing their shows in the last, 18 hours. And I totally respect that. I totally understand it. Everybody has their own thoughts on how they want to handle things. But I felt like it was important for us to be live today. I felt like it was important for us to be live out of respect for you, out of respect for the situation. We have this, I'm not a big fan of the whole parasocial relationship thing, but you guys are there for us and we want to be there for you. And I think it's important that you guys see and know that we are humans. We're not just this thing that shows up on your screen every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. And, we have emotions about this stuff. We don't really dig into the world of politics that often on the show, very small percentage of the show. But we do talk about cultural things. And in the space that we talk about, the video game space, the entertainment space, a lot of the things that we discuss on a day-to-day basis, if you look at the Venn diagram of what's happened, there's a giant crossover, especially with a lot of the information that's coming out over the last 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours about this. And we live in a time that is a powder keg, if you will. I think everybody is definitely nervous. Everybody definitely has a sense of a heightened sense of unknown to them right now, myself included. I can think of several times in my life where I thought this was for lack of a better word, like flashpoint, where I knew things had changed. I think of like 9/11. I think of COVID. And, obviously I think of what happened yesterday. And I know that you guys have a lot to say about this. I know there's a lot of information, misinformation, just a lot of data floating around. And we will keep an eye on all that stuff, because I'm sure that from the time we are done today to the time that, from now until the time we finish, we will have new perspective on things, new information. And we will do our best to keep you updated on that. With that said, we do have a lot of folks who are going to be joining us today. Think of it like a roundtable, an opportunity to vent, an opportunity to discuss what's happening. But make no mistake, we have no idea what's next, just like you don't. But more than anything, we just wanted to talk about it. We wanted to get your thoughts. We wanted to be vulnerable for you guys, because I think that's what this should be. It's important for us to do this, and I'm glad to be doing this, although it is obviously a horrible situation to be doing it under. But we appreciate you guys rolling with the punches today, being a part of what we do. And I say this at the end of every show, and I mean this right now. Thank you very much for being a part of our life and allowing us to be a part of yours. And this is a life event. So with that said, I want to welcome a lot of folks in. And the way that this is going to work today is people will come and go as they see fit. We have our time slot that we do our show every day. I don't know if we're going to go 2 hours. Our run sheet is, we had one thing and it's been thrown out, and it's more or less just going to be a free-flowing discussion. So people will come, people will go, people have a link to show up. If they show up, cool. If they don't, that's fine. People may drop at any time. But the most important thing is that we wanted to give them an opportunity to say what they're thinking, think what they're thinking, and put it out there for you guys, because a lot of people have a lot of things to say. Hello, Blabs. Good morning.
Hello. It's not a good morning, but hello.
Yeah, I know. It's not a good morning. And, couple all this stuff with, the 24th anniversary of 9/11 is, it's very emotional for a lot of people. and it's tough. I know you said you were going through a lot of emotions today without everything that happened in the last 18 hours or so. So anyways, glad you're with us as always. Phoenix is in the background as well, straight from the hood. Hello, Phoenix.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on today on this. Man, this has been a rough few days. We've been having, not only is it 9/11, not only did we lose Charlie Kirk, but we also had that train thing. So it's just not been a fun week for anybody.
No, it's not. No. And I don't know if how anybody could potentially look at what's happening, and you see people who are celebrating. I don't even want to get in there yet. We'll get to there later. Joining us today, another member of our team here at Side Strollers who helps out with events and such. Lady Desiree is joining us. Hello, Des. Great to see you.
Hey guys.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's important that there's going to be a lot of emotions today, I'm sure. But let's just not get banned off YouTube. let's just, I think that's
a warning to me. Don't worry, I'll be good.
That's just for everybody. And look, I know, Des, I think
I need it the most.
Yeah, I know your tongue. I know you're just like a wizard or a wordsmith of nasty things to say. No, but odd circumstances today, as we had this gentleman booked to come on our show, and obviously before all this stuff happened. But I am very excited to welcome from our friends over at Rumble, a big advocate for Rumble, Silver Fox. Hello, buddy. Good to see you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day.
Yeah, it actually, oddly enough, it is a very beautiful day, at least where I'm at here in Dallas. So beautiful morning.
And just so you know, whenever you said don't get us banned off YouTube, I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I forget you guys are on YouTube, and I could have burned this thing down today. So and I think that really says a lot about Rumble and the importance of Rumble, because a lot of people can't say what they really want to say today because you won't have a platform to say it on, which honestly, pretty fucked up. Yeah, that was a smart move. Good looking out.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's my job. Also joining us today, the lovely couple, competitors from King of the Carts, Flawed over here. Hello, Flawed. Great to see you.
My mic was muted. I said, I don't even care if you're on YouTube. I'm getting you banned.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
No,
and the better half, Mo. Hello, Mo.
Hi, everybody.
Great to see
better
you.
half? Why? Because she's white? Don't do that.
I did. That's what I said. Yeah, better half because she's white. Flawed. That's right. Damn, fucking.
Attaboy, Craig. Attaboy.
Way to go. Way to go.
And we're off YouTube already.
That's right. Oh, no, it's opposite day. So fucking
April
stupid.
Fools.
All right. Well, look, obviously a lot has happened since our last show. And I think, there's no reason to go in and do a full recap of it. I mean, we all saw what happened. I know, actually, I was texting with a buddy last night, and he's like, I haven't seen the video, and honestly, I don't want to. And my response is like, good, because it will be seared into your brain, and you'll never be able to unsee it. And just how brutal that was. We've learned a lot about this in the last little bit, and I thought it would be, I think first and foremost, I think we should kind of talk about the response from a lot of folks. And Blabs, once again, please keep an eye on news outlets today to see if there's anything breaking.
Giving you something.
They released pictures.
Do you see?
Oh no, I'm sorry. They released pictures of what?
I sent it to
shooter recently.
Yeah, I put in the doc. Phoenix found it. FBI needs our help in the document.
Okay, let me. Where's it at in the doc? Right here. Okay.
Top.
If you do anything, please add it to the top of the doc, please. All right, so here we go. We have this breaking news, apparently, which fucking A. Here we go. We are asking for the public's help in identifying the person in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at the university, Utah Valley University. This looks to be the person.
Little puny bitch.
Right. First time I've seen this right here.
If it is him, that is.
Well, I'll say this. I did watch the press conference earlier today, and the FBI press conference, which, once again, I don't really trust three-letter agencies, but you can only take them at their word as best you possibly can. They do say they have footage of this person essentially making their way from
from the shooting spot, like going to the shooting spot, from the shooting spot and leaving. And if this is the person that they say it is, then, I don't know. I mean, so that's good. You see the response here, Kongman, who's a friend of the show, public execution is a moderate solution. I just on a total side note.
Is that a bar?
What's that?
Is that a bar? It rhymed.
Well, I mean,
maybe
you can turn it into one there, Flawed.
Might have to.
That's right. It's funny because I did. I mean, it's not really funny. Oh God. I did see that like execution is still a thing in Utah.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, that's something that can be done in Utah.
Wow.
In situations like this, like just fucking do it. I don't care anymore. Like if you do something like this, I know this is YouTube. Put their ass on a guillotine and let's get it over with and move on. Like, what are we doing?
In Minecraft. Yeah. No, I hear you. And by the way, I'll just kind of throw that out there because we're playing the YouTube game. I hear you. And we know it's funny because we talked about this over the last week. Last several shows. If you look at our shows, there's been a reoccurring theme to a lot of our shows over the past few days, and it all has to do with like this mental illness and threatening violence and people who are just broken people. And it sucks. But we used this analogy yesterday, this idea that if a dog bites you, you put it to sleep, right? But, going back to the incident on the train over in North Carolina, this guy had bitten 14 times or 12 times, whatever it was, right? Like at a certain point, you just got to put the dog to sleep because we're tired of getting bit. And so I hear you on that, Fox. It's, I'll tell you, before we get into this, I would just love to go around and hear everybody's thoughts. We all know this sucks. We all know this is horrible, but just your raw emotions. Let's start with Mo, and then we'll work our way around.
I agreed with a lot of things that Charlie said. I also disagreed with a lot. I think the thing that is making me my most raw feelings on it is it's strengthening my faith. He was like a huge champion for the Lord, and past couple of years, my relationship with God has gotten extremely strong, and I just I think that this should make I think a lot of people are going to sort of get a little quieter with their faith, but I just hope that people get more bold with their relationship with God and their faith or whatever it is. And I think that the one thing that he should be completely remembered for is his faith and how strong he went for God. And it makes me emotional sometimes to think about, but yeah.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you being vulnerable, and that's, oh, damn it. Sorry.
Goodness.
I'll say this, you said being more bold. I think that's the one thing that we're definitely going to see out of this. I think people will be considerably more bold in their thoughts. When you see somebody gunned down in cold blood like that in front of thousands of people, it will radicalize people. It will change you. And I said this yesterday, I feel complicit when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I've always been this like, oh, you do you type of guy, right? You do you as long as it doesn't affect me. I've said that a million times in the show. But I think that's the attitude that has really gotten us to this point, and I feel very complicit in this. And I think that probably every single one of us are complicit in that because, hey, I don't want to be a bully. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to be told that I'm this or that. So you just bend a little bit and you bend a little bit until somebody's fucking shot in the neck. Flawed?
What
are your thoughts on everything, man? What?
I was listening. I didn't know you were coming right to me. I'm of the belief that everybody should watch the video. I think it should be everywhere because it's reality. It's real life. That really happened to someone because of the inflammatory things that they've radicalized the left. And I think everyone should see it to really see that this is a real situation. I feel like it's easy to get desensitized by the internet, especially on Twitter, just seeing that happen all the time. But this is like a familiar face that we all know. We've all seen him, no matter who you are, you've all seen him. You've never seen him do anything violent. You may disagree with the things he says, and it led to him getting popped in front of thousands of students and his family. And they had to see that just because someone disagreed with him. So I think everyone should see it to see the gravity of the mental illness that you're dealing with on the other side. But I also, it's like, I feel for the family, but he is a martyr now, in my opinion. It just makes everything he said, it's just going to amplify everything that he's ever said and make more of him. People might be more quiet about it, but I think people will be louder about it. I really believe that.
Mm. Fox, I'm sure you have lots to say.
Well, I'll keep it pretty simple. I understand the initial reaction to get very angry. I was very angry. I literally rage quit my stream yesterday. I was like, I'm so angry that I was like, I can't sit here and pretend to stream and pretend to be in a good mood. Like, this is horrible. Like,
Right.
like Paul said, we get so used to, there's all this stuff around trans shooters and all this stuff. And everyone's like, I feel like we're in danger of getting desensitized to this kind of thing. And he's absolutely right when he said, Charlie's an actual martyr, like an actual martyr. Everyone throws that word around, but what he's done in peacefully, throw out his ideas and peacefully debate, and he got killed for it, and we don't know what the reason is. It could have been a crazy lunatic left. It could have been even something more sinister than that to bestow division. We don't know what's going on right now. But here's what I'll say. My biggest fear is letting things like this change me as a person. Because, I watched this video a little while back, like a year or two ago, by Mike Tyson, of all people. Mm-hmm. And he said something very smart. He had this young man on his podcast, and the young man was talking about this time when someone had wronged him and that he was angry. And Tyson was like, well, you have to forgive. And I'm paraphrasing the hell out of this, but he was like, you have to forgive that person. And the guy's like, why should I forgive the person who has wronged me? They owe me the apology. And Mike Tyson said something that I literally to this day have not forgotten. He said, because if you let someone else control your emotions, you're a slave to that person now. They are your master. They own you. If you let an ideology or a person control who you, and I'm guilty. This is something I work on to this day. I still work on this, not letting other things control my emotions. Because once you do that, you become a slave to that thing, and they've changed you for the negative forever. Mm-hmm. It's so that idea that you should forgive people is literal. You have to be able to. And that doesn't mean you sit, like you were saying earlier, you feel complicit. I agree. That doesn't mean you sit back and you just let them, kill everything. You still have to come down and figure out what the hell's going on and make it stop. But you can't do it from a place of just pure anger and division, because that's exactly what they want. And you just can't let them change you. Like that's what I'm trying to focus on this morning, is not letting them change me as a human being. Because once they do that, it's, nothing good comes from it.
Yeah,
true.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I know I saw so many people, myself included, who were just I try to stay off social media as much as I possibly can, but this is our show, right? And I saw so many people talking about how they were just angry yesterday. They're just mad. And the way that you described that, the idea of you don't want this to change you, like I felt that. You feel the radicalization. You see these instances over and over and over again. I saw like Tectone tweet out. He's like, I feel radicalized by this. And, radicalization usually has like a negative connotation on this. And flawed, Mo, you mentioned the idea of kind of pushing a little bit further into your faith. I think people will now push a little bit further into the divide. And I think that's ultimately what has happened here, is that this event will create even a larger chasm, because this was a mask off moment for a lot of people. The way people reacted to it, the way people grieved over it, and the way some cheered it, which tells you everything that you know. That you need to know about these people. And by the way, just as a total side note, because I want to say this really fucking loud for everybody, I have some people that I used to work with that were fucking making snide remarks yesterday, and I want to go full screen on this. all y'all are giant pieces of shit. And I'm glad that I don't have to deal with you fucking again, because you're all pieces of trash, every single one of you. So fuck you guys for trying to dance on a man's grave like that. Fuck all y'all. Sorry. Speaking of being a little emotional about it, I just saw that yesterday, and they know who they are, and they can go fuck off. Des.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry my light is going crazy. So I'm
Don't
going
worry about
like
it. You're good.
in and out, super going. I'm gonna probably offer almost the exact opposite opinion to what Silver Fox just said. I'm actually extremely angry, and I'm gonna try not to cry, because actually I usually cry when I get really angry. I can hear it coming up, but
You're okay. You're fine. Just talk. You're good.
I'm so angry, and I actually think this is, and it's Silver Fox, I know you aren't saying this, but this is a very, very expected emotion. I don't think it's a wrong emotion. I think it's actually part of the process. And actually, I think anger can really serve you a lot of times, because it can cause action. Now, it depends whether or not that's a good action is the question, right? So, it's not good to take my anger, then go down the street and shoot up a bunch of people, but it can also it can help you go do something. And so I don't really feel like anger is necessarily a bad thing. I do feel changed, and I'm okay being changed. I think big events are going to change you. And again, I know this is probably just a semantics thing, Silver Fox, as to how we're interpreting those words, but I'm really mad, and I'm going to allow myself to be mad for a while, and it's going to take me a while until I feel like I can transition out of this stage into, a little bit more normalized. But a father and a husband was killed, and I'm pissed. And I'm also, and I'm not mad at just the person who did it. I'm so upset by the reaction to so many, and that has been really, really disheartening. And, we've seen that happen, but it's just becoming so commonplace now. And that's hard. It's hard. It's tough. I'm really angry. I've said a lot of really pretty angry things on Twitter, and I don't apologize for any of them, because that's how I felt in the moment. And yeah, so that's how I feel, Craig.
Yeah.
Can I just reiterate that I completely agree with her? Like, I completely agree. I'm like, I told my wife this morning, I was like, I might be off for a couple of days, and I'm not trying to sound all like weird about it, but I'm like, I'm angry. And that's why I made the distinction when I said what I said, that I'm not saying that we shouldn't radically do something and figure out what the hell is going on and get to the bottom of this, like, for real. I just mean, I guess I meant more like on I'm trying not to sound gay, like a spiritual level, like to don't let it like change your values. And by the way, it's good it's good to have the right, you're in the exactly right spot to have, those are good values to want to, because someone said in the chat, the Bible is biblical to have like biblical anger,
righteous
indignation.
Yeah, when Jesus
righteous
got
indignation.
angry,
Yeah,
when Jesus got angry and went into the temple and started, smashing stuff around because of all the crap they were doing in there, like, this is that sort of thing. Absolutely, something needs to be done. We're all angry, and I just wanted to.
And I assume that's what you meant too. I think it is grief. It's a different stage of grief, and everyone's going to handle it differently. And I'm okay. Like, I've had a lot of people want to calm me down. And it's like, look, I can manage my emotions fine. I found out 10 minutes before I had to teach piano lessons. Okay. I had to teach piano lessons with a happy face for 3 hours, and I did it just fine. And I can function. It's not like I'm have no control of my emotions, but I do feel an anger, and it's going to take a while for that to dissipate. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning angry. I was hoping I could go to sleep last night and wake up and feel a little bit more normal today, but I didn't. And that's okay. I'll get there, but I also think don't want people to forget either. I don't think they will. I think that, it's interesting that that he started Turning Point, because I think this is going to be a massive turning point for especially a lot of young people. And they will become more radicalized. Now, what does radicalized mean? That's, of course, a different term for everybody, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think they're going to become maybe not more radicalized, but have more conviction.
For sure.
I think more than anything, people are just like, this is a flashpoint in the idea that people are just tired of this shit. They don't want to feel like they're in danger for simply going out and expressing their opinion. And that's I think the biggest crime here is that whether you agreed with him or not, he went out and had conversations that, weren't always people. He didn't see eye to eye with people, but the vast majority of time were extremely calm, extremely rational. But you can't negotiate, you can't bargain with people that are irrational. And what yesterday was an irrational action. Phoenix, I'm going to open it up to you. If you and Blabs have anything to say.
So I have an enormous amount to say, but I'm actually just going to keep it really simple to just a couple of points. So right now, we're in a period of time where we're kind of on a battlefield of ideas going on. I would argue that at the moment, our side is winning that. And you can see this because someone came to a microphone fight with a gun. That means that the microphone is winning. The voice of the people is winning. The hearts and minds of people are changing. When you need to bring violence to something, that means you've lost the argument completely. You're now desperate. And I want so desperately to make sure, at least in my opinion, that we stay on that because we've been gaining ground. Ideas are winning. And ideas will always win over violence, in my opinion. And I would also like to say, since this is a time to be smart, in my opinion, I want to look at the man who is a man of faith. And I would imagine that wrath is not something that he would ever want to see. And he also loved this country. If we go down the path of wrath, this country will probably not survive, and it certainly wouldn't be the country I think that he wanted. I say that this is the time to be as smart and as strong as we all can possibly be, so that we see that this man's message continues. And what I want more than anything in this world, the most effective thing that I can see, is that the youth that he touched, all those lives that he affected in a positive way, that they pick up the microphone that he dropped and they move forward and we multiply. That's how you win, in my opinion. And I am praying to God we choose that over an alternative.
Thank you, Phoenix. And I agree. I think that in a situation like this, the old saying, cooler heads will prevail. And I know that it's hard. And it's, everybody is very angry, myself especially. I'm not gonna say included, especially. And yeah, I mean, going up and I think everybody wants to see, whatever revenge on this guy, whoever this person is. They want to see him caught. They want to see a public execution, whatever. But here's the reality: you don't want to see a public execution. You don't want to see what happened to Charlie Kirk happen again, right? You don't. It's man, what a crazy world.
If we bring back public executions, maybe things that happened to Charlie Kirk will happen way less.
Well, there is definitely.
I think that we need stronger deterrence. Personally,
what does that mean? Someone who's remember, you're up against ideology.
Yeah.
Ideology will, as we've seen on 9/11, okay, that should say everything. You are not deterring someone with an ideological or in potentially mental illness. So that's something to consider. I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong. It's just something to consider. You might make them martyrs.
Right. Which, unironically, that's probably what they did to Charlie Kirk. Blabs, I know you've been hesitant to say anything. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's fine too. But floor is yours.
Good, thank you.
You're good? Okay. All right. Let's go to some of the reaction to everything. Everyone's kind of said what they'd like to say. And I wanted to kind of go through this list of all the stuff. I think it's important to point out that before the show started, the reaction immediately from our president, who a lot of people are looking for from this, this came out just shortly ago, that he'll be receiving, well, I'll let President Trump say this.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
So the Presidential Medal of Freedom going to Charlie Kirk after he was gunned down yesterday, which, you know, it's a medal. It shows the accomplishments that he made during his lifetime. And, you know, I tweeted this out yesterday, and I'll see if I can pull up the exact tweet about it. You know, but Charlie Kirk made a very big impact, whether you agree with him or not. You know, he made a very big impact on society. And while he made a massive impact during his life, there's a high probability he'll make a much bigger impact on his death. Because I think that there's a lot of people who see this and they're upset and they want to take action. Like I said, you know, take action. Hopefully that's, you know, a positive action. But I'm sure there will be negative actions because of this. My brother, who is fairly outspoken when it comes to government things, you know, a lot of people have pointed to the tremendous divide in society. And I don't think that media should not be looked at very closely. Our media, our politicians, things like that. And people say, well, how, why, how did this happen? And I saw this video here and I thought it really explained it pretty damn well.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
So,
at what point does this become more than freedom is like you can't like the old like adage you can't yell fire in a theater or whatever. When does it become that sort of deal? Whenever you can't just be CNN or whoever's doing it, you can't just a politician. You can't just blatantly stoke the flames of division and kind of call for violence. At what point does this become a
threat,
an actual offense where you actually have to be held accountable for this shit? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, like all that whole video you just played is why Charlie Kirk is dead.
Blood on their hands.
I mean, this is a literal, like, I don't want to hear a single fucking thing about the First Amendment. You can't do what they're doing. And it's not like me and if I had a stupid little podcast with 3 people watching, we're talking about the leaders of our country. By the way, I hate the word leaders. They're supposed to be public servants, but that's another issue. The political class in this country that just on a daily basis just calls the other side Nazis and Hitlers. And if you get enough, you get enough. They don't need, this doesn't have to be a big conspiracy. They don't have to go out of their way to hire a guy. Maybe they did, but the point is, if you call the other side Hitlers and Nazis and that, they're going to put y'all back in chains and all that BS, you're going to get a crazy who's going to kill a Charlie Kirk. So that's where we're at. So I'm sick of the talk. I'm sick of all this stuff. I want to see people, I don't care who they are, how prominent they are, how famous they are. I want them walked out in fucking handcuffs when they say shit like this.
Right. I see Magua guy, good supporter, says, not helping, Craig. You know what's not helping? These people saying these things, right? All we're doing is looking at it and pointing at it, right? We're not saying that. They're saying it. We're just putting it on a platform. Not helping. I think it's incredibly important for you to know how these people think, how they feel about you, the things that they don't want. I mean, it's nuts. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. The irony of all this is this is pointed out by Philip Chan. He pointed out a tweet from Charlie Kirk, November 27th, 2016. You can tell a lot about a person and how they react when someone dies. Almost prophetic, if you will. And I think that's one of the things that you can see. And I do want to kind of spend some time talking about the reaction to this. We'll start with like critical drinker, which I think is one of the most milquetoast statements ever. But literally everybody, well, not everybody, most people agree with, whether you agree with them or not, Charlie Kirk is dead purely because some people didn't like what he had to say. That should outrage every single one of us. And I think it does. Anybody have a different take than when it comes to that?
No.
Okay. Let's get to some of the reactions from some people in the space, some prominent streamers or whoever. We'll get to some good reactions as well as some insane reactions. And by the way, guys, we do see your super chats. We appreciate it. We're not doing Montez today. We're not doing any goals. We're not doing any bits. We'll let them scroll on the bottom of the screen. We'll read some of the larger ones at the tail end of the show. Just know we appreciate it, but that's not why we're live today. If you guys want to support, awesome. Now let me say this before we go into the reaction of some folks. And I'm going to bring this back to us in a much, almost selfishly. Yesterday, we announced that we're doing the Real Game Awards, and we announced a venue for it. And I mentioned this yesterday after, as all this was happening. I mentioned this yesterday on the live stream I did, but we're up on a stage, and we're going to be presenting and talking about video games for a living, right? But we are in a space that is ideologically captured by a lot of this insanity. That people that were championing this death yesterday, literally dancing on his grave before the body was cold. So when we announce a venue for the Real Game Awards and say, hey, we're going to do this, and then you see something like this happen, even before this happened, that gave me second thoughts about it. Should we be doing this live? Are we putting literally a target on ourselves? And you see something like this happen, and just as a business owner who has, a small audience of supporters, small audience of hate watchers, it does put a lot of thoughts in the back of my head.
But then they win.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because they're scaring you out of doing what you do.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. You're right. And they win. And, really what it comes down to is, in a situation like that, it's just going to cost that much more, because we're going to need that much more security than what we already have built. So, it's just one of those things where you go like, shit. And you're right, Flawed. You're 100% right. You can't let evil win in a situation.
That's what it is. It's good and evil, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's get to some of the reaction here. Some noticeable folks here in the space. Aiden Ross was live talking about this, and let's get his thoughts on this. Let's go ahead and fire away with Aiden Ross.
Agree with everything he has to say, but that's a father with a wife with two kids that now have to grow up without a father, and that's just the way it is. And if you don't think that's a problem, if you don't think that instead you celebrating, that's not an issue to talk about, you're part of the problem. You are part of the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are a very, very, very big part of the issue. And it's fucking horrible, bro. It is absolutely horrible, the video. And like the fact that we can actually access that video and see it is disturbing, bro. It's so fucked. It's so fucked. I pray for people that genuinely sit there and celebrate and think this is like something to like actually like get happy over. I pray that whenever you have children, the people that are celebrating, that your children aren't involved in school shootings and aren't involved around mass shootings and horrible, horrible events, because it's very possible. It's very possible. It's very possible if we don't address what's going on. It's very possible.
Yeah.
He cooked.
Yeah. And he's not wrong. Not wrong with any of this. Phoenix, you brought this up. Shoe on Head is a big creator in the space. And I don't know, I wanted to kind of throw it over to you, Phoenix, on your thoughts that she put together.
Damn, she wrote a book.
Yeah, she wrote a book, but it's worth reading. Phoenix, do you want to read through this? Because this, it seems like this affected you in some way.
Yeah. I really like Shoe on Head. We do not share the same political opinions, but she's someone that can be reasoned with. She reminds me a lot of what the old original left was. They were not violent people. They had common sense, and you'd argue about stupid things like taxes and things like that. And I thought she said that. Read the whole thing.
Yeah. Let's go and read the whole thing. I know
Sure.
it's kind of a book, but I think it's worth looking at.
Sure. These last 2 weeks have completely black-pilled me on the left. Even after 10 years of covering their antics, woke, slop, etc., I'm not leaving the left. I still have all my economic left positions. I'm quintessentially a 2015 Bernie bro, a Huey Long disciple for strong social safety nets, workers' rights, etc., that hasn't changed and only has gotten stronger with time. I side with them on things like Israel and war in general, but is that even what left is nowadays? I don't know. Looking around socially, personally, on a human level, if this is what the left is, I am not left. For the first time in a decade, I truly do not want to be grouped in with these people. It is now very clear we live in completely different realities with different morals. From the insane, bizarre reaction to the murder of an innocent woman on a train, reflexively getting madder about people being mad about it, and then the actual murder, dismissing people's very real concerns about a dying, decaying society to, well, that's just living in a city, chud. Car accidents are more common. To celebrating the gruesome murder of a husband, father, just a guy, not a politician, not a CEO, a fucking guy, for having normie campus conservative coworker politics, for the crime of not being a liberal, not believing in the current thing. It is clear how they reacted about Charlie is how they would react about me, my friends, my family, any of you, your friends, your family that have ever stepped out of line of the nebulous, ever-changing definition of progressive. Anyone who has ever been called a Nazi for the stupidest shit in the last 10 plus years. Charlie was staunchly right-wing, but remember, none of you are pure enough. Many things have made me feel this way over the years. DNC fucking Bernie twice, COVID lockdowns, trucker protest being lied to about Kyle Rittenhouse and believing it like a moron. Drag kid shit being gaslit with the Balenciaga drama, realizing adults should be able to do what they want is becoming a fascist belief. The bike Karen lie, how they wanted Daniel Penny's head for doing the exact community policing they talked about wanting. I can go on, but this week in particular has been eye-opening. Posting videos and pictures of Charlie's wife and young kids will not move them because they cannot relate and never will. They are atomizing bug people who hate their families and themselves, the unfortunate product of modern society. They are miserable, evil human beings, and I owe many people many apologies for ever thinking otherwise. Maybe I'll calm down, but I couldn't sleep, but I'm absolutely demoralized and blackpilled beyond belief. I do not want my child growing up in a world like this. Sick, evil shit. I thought that was a perfect way of kind of putting it all.
Yeah, there's a lot there, man. There's a lot there. And I'll say this, you know, she touched on the idea that we are living in two different realities, and it very much feels that way. And if you don't perfectly align with literally everything lockstep and key in the, you know, she said it, the ever-changing definition of progressive, then you're out of the club, you know? And that is, man, I thought she nailed it pretty good. Any thoughts on that? Flawed Mo, Des?
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely, Fox.
So I've been talking about this for years, actually. And it's the whole trans movement is, and I don't want to steer this too far away from the actual thing, but this will tie back into why we're such a dystopian time we're in, which is the fact that if you can't, as a society, if you can't agree on basic biology, there's nowhere to extrapolate to. If I sit down with someone who's a liberal or a leftist, whatever we're calling them, and they tell me that boys and girls, it's interchangeable and it's fluid, well, then I can't have a conversation with that person, because in order to have any good discourse, you have to be able to agree on certain principles of reality. And I actually think that this whole trans thing is a bigger symptom of bigger things that are going on. I don't think it's an accident. I think when you inject this sort of ideology into a society, it's not meant to be out of compassion. I think it's serving its design goal, which 100%. Is to destroy society. Mm-hmm. So if we can't call this BS out for what it is and stop letting the left coddle people to death, then this is only going to get worse. Boys are boys, girls are girls. They are different, and that's great. And that, I guess that's all I had to say on that. I didn't want to bring it all the way back to the trans thing, but I think that's an actual big thing going on right now, is why we're getting so much the lack of discourse and just the vileness, because we've told these people that. Well, anyways, I'll give it back to you. But yeah, there's nowhere, if you can't agree on basic biology, there's no conversation to be had past that. And that's where we're at.
Like what she said was it was on point. Everything was on point, and normal people will agree. And it's frustrating because the people that should be hearing it and listening to what she just said and trying to, maybe what I think is wrong, they will just turn on her and not give a fuck, and just now she's a bad guy to them.
I think that's why Charlie Kirk, what he was doing was important, because I used to be on the left as well. It was the same thing, except it was BLM that changed my opinion. That's what made everything turn around, was seeing Charlie Kirk, seeing Ben Shapiro, seeing these people have these debates and see people try to argue the points that I thought I believed in their face, and have them look crazy. And no one wants to look crazy. Obviously, it's embarrassing to look crazy. Mm-hmm. So we all try to avoid that. So it made me be like, I'm going to look stupid if I try to defend the position that I think I have, which ended up making me more right leaning. That's where I ended up, because there was more truth that was based in fact. And I think that's why Charlie Kirk is important. I think that's why they take people like Charlie Kirk out. It's like white Martin Luther King type of thing. Like actually could have changed minds, could have changed more minds, or did. And I think he may still, yeah. But I think she's right. I think she's absolutely right. I was trying to defend BLM protests and riots, and I'm like, they're really burning down their own community. It doesn't make any sense. As I'm like trying to defend them, I couldn't. Right. And it changed my opinion. So I see where she's coming from.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
And it's really important for us. Like, I hear this all the time. Well, I've heard this, a few times. Why do you care about the trans thing? Why does it matter? And it actually matters on a technical level. It's not just some like personal emotion I have, because the truth technically does matter. And I'm not going to harp on what I just said, but it's the same thing. If you can't agree on basic rule or basic biology, then you will not have a society. The truth matters. So whenever you're faced with this question, and for the last decade, people have been scared to say that this trans BS is wrong because, and look, I agree or I don't agree, but I empathize to a certain level. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to get, ostracized, but we're past that. We're past that. Like, we need corporations like all these, the Nikes and the Walmarts and all these. We need. It's time for a cultural shift that we haven't seen in at least a decade. We got to get away from this trans stuff. We got to start treating it like what it is, which is a mental illness, and start treating the nuclear family, father, mother, and kids, and boys and girls, and start calling this what it is, normal. And we need normal right now.
Well, it's amazing, right? Because I go back to this. When all this started, I mentioned reference to previous people I worked with, right? I don't fault them. I didn't fault them for going along. Hey, I've always said, I don't care if you are trans as long as you don't mess with kids, right? Yeah. But let's call it what it is at this point, right? Here's the reality. Literally every trans person I've ever spoke with, this is them telling me, not me telling them. They have told me I have a mental issue. That's them telling me this. I have mental instability. Mm-hmm. That's them telling me. Then it comes back to, the report this morning from Steven Crowder. This is the big deal of the kind of the rundown of the shooter itself. There's some interesting things in here, coming back to all cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. And some people saying, "Oh, it's a trap. This is whatever." Right? To me, here's the thing. That doesn't make sense to me, just from a outside looking in, right? Because it doesn't make sense for the idea that why would you build this up only for them to kind of, pardon the pun, but put a target on them, right? That doesn't make sense for me to build up this ideology from a public-facing standpoint, from a media standpoint, only for it to be like, yeah, by the way, and then, but also go out of your way to cover it up in like the Nashville shooting and all these other things. You wouldn't go and try to cover these things up, and then say, no. In this case, yeah, this is what was going on.
That's just one aspect of the entire thing. Like, people talking about trans is one thing, but this started with Obama praising BLM. That's where this actually started. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, turning everyone against each other, and then it went from Obama BLM. If you didn't support BLM, you were a racist, and a lot of corporations weren't going along with that time. And then they used Trump. They called him a racist, and then during COVID is when the trans thing took off. But we were already on this path. Like, this was already a thing.
We were on
Black
that
people
path
were
even
feeling
way
entitled
before that.
and hating white people just because they're white. Like, it started with that, and then it turned trans, and they're just destroying society.
You know what they're trying to do. Go ahead, Des.
This has been a death by 1,000 cuts scenario. There's been Marxist people infiltrating our school systems, our country for a long time. And earlier I said we need stronger deterrence. What I meant is that when we see a little bit of that Marxism, and for those of y'all that don't know, my mother is Cuban, so I literally had this destroy my family. Okay, so I thank goodness I grew up with having that knowledge. Anyway, a stronger deterrent is literally, we need to bring back shaming, and we need to bring it back hard, and you need to implement it immediately when you see those little things pop up. I'm not saying go out and commit violence. I'm saying you see somebody out, and Charlie Kirk was fantastic about being able to use his voice and speak with these people. And that's what the legacy that you need to carry on. And, people are going to have their different strengths as far as how they go about doing that with their communication. I guarantee you, if somebody runs into my husband out in public and he sees him saying the Marxists and stuff, he's going to call them all kinds of crazy names. And I do not care, because they need to hear that. And that's the kind of stuff that needs to be happening if we want to see a shift. And the thing is, it is happening. I saw somebody saying about, don't be black-pilled. I don't want anyone to confuse my anger for being black-pilled. I am not black-pilled at all. I actually have a lot of hope for the future. This is a very sad thing, and we can feel very angry and feel very sad about this and still have hope for the future. And I think there's going to be a lot of good that's going to come out of this. I'm sure there's going to be some blowback bad, because that's just, how the world works. There's lots of different, can't control people's reactions, but I do think there is going to be a lot of good too. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent.
No, you're right.
I don't even know what my original. I don't even know what my original point was.
We all just agree right here. Go around the table. Everyone can just agree. No more black presidents.
I agree. No, I agree.
Finally, absolutely.
Black, bro.
Don't make a woman one either.
Black I ever seen, bro.
Lord Fox. Right.
He's right. Nah, he's good. He's kind of good.
I'm joking.
But speaking of presidents, though, right? There was a lot of talk that a lot of people saying yesterday that Charlie Kirk may have been the president. Like, they took out a future president here, and
I can see it.
And people have said, well, this is like our MLK moment. This is the JFK moment. Well, look, to be clear, Charlie Kirk wasn't Martin Luther King. He wasn't John F. Kennedy, but he could have been.
Why not, though? Why wasn't he?
Well, he was influencing a lot of young people.
Like the internet. The internet has a bigger reach, I think.
Yeah,
I think Martin Luther King was built up over years for it to be like revered. But I think this is absolutely another situation like that.
And he wasn't slowing down either. I mean, as the internet grows, as his presence grows, his reach to young people, and just but it's his reach, but it's also the reaction from the other side. The young people were seeing how insane the left is when it comes to just basic, like I said, basic biology. It was moving people to the right. I think far too fast for some people.
Yeah, and to Christianity, a lot of young people are
that's a big part of it.
Christian.
Good point.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat say Yuri Bezmenov. He was talking about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
They're going to destroy society like this.
So what's next? Like we saw yesterday, there was the same comedian who was jailed for saying things in UK not too long ago. If you guys recall that, Graham Linehan yesterday, he said they just created 1 million Charlie Kirks. I very much agree with that.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know,
give me my credit.
Oh, go ahead.
I just said give me my credit because I said that in the beginning of the show.
Shut up.
Yes.
I don't want to get too weird with this, but or too deep into like the philosophical stuff. But I kind of feel like our way of government, the way our founding fathers, the way it was set up with the checks and balances and the First and Second Amendment, these are all obviously we would all agree. I think the closest to the right way you could run an open and free society. But I think the crazy and disturbing reality is that those same freedoms can and always will be used to destroy that very thing. And as long as we have, and I'm not advocating to change our Constitution. I'm just saying as a matter of fact that I don't know if we're ever going to have a time where we're not trying to fight this thing off. Because as long as people are able to have ideas and able to speak their opinion, there's always going to be bad actors that try to get us back to this point.
Yeah.
And so I'll be honest, I have no fucking idea what to do because the alternative is you could have hopefully like a benevolent king who could, set everything straight, but that always goes south as well. So I don't know, man. I guess we're just gonna have to keep fighting for this thing.
That's it.
I think people need to have courage, and they need to and not be demoralized by this, not be afraid to speak out after this, but they continue to speak. They do exactly what Charlie did, was get married, have kids, and and homeschool your kids if you can, or get them in good schools, or have conversations with them, and really work hard on this next generation to not be to be swayed by this ideology. As far as like where we are right now, that's what I'm saying. Bring shaming back. I know I'm going to be doing it, and I'm not like a mean person, but I will happily go shame somebody in public if I see them spouting out this stuff. You know, and just not be quiet. I think we are going in the right direction. I just think we need to like keep going.
Yeah,
personally,
I agree. You got to go through, you know, you got to go through the downs to learn from them to build back up. You know,
well, it'll be interesting to see.
Evil.
Well, that's it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens with Turning Point USA, the organization that he founded, and there's reports that they are selling out of merchandise today.
I literally bought a shirt first in the middle of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And I'm sure they're going to see a large round of funding from this, a lot of support. But, you know, outside of the support, their leader is gone. The leader of this entire movement is gone. So we'll see kind of what happens with that organization as well. And hopefully the messaging continues. And I think that's the most amazing thing about this is as I watch Charlie Kirk speak, I don't, like I said, you don't have to agree with everything that he is, but the way that he would speak was so calm.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time, so calm, so rational.
Yep.
And it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough.
But that's why they take you out, you know? Like, we don't want to hear anything from you. We don't want to say anything.
I would argue it's not that this didn't happen because of what he was saying. It's because it was effective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
So be effective, people. Do not go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to some of the reaction from some other folks, and it's been amazing to see. God damn, just the evilness that has come from a lot of this, and I think that's been the most shocking thing of this. You mentioned this is a full mask off moment for a lot of people. And to see the reaction is insane. And it started literally as it was happening. I don't know if you saw the girl who was who witnessed it.
Streaming?
This poor young lady here who was, feet away. Did you see this video of her?
No.
Okay, let's go.
Oh gosh.
Well, let's just let her tell the story.
I just witnessed Charlie Kirk get assassinated. It was the most awful thing I've ever seen in my life. Shot him in the neck and blood went everywhere. And the worst part of it all was the liberals who were there were cheering. And I just have nothing to say. You identify yourself with the Liberal Party. It's okay. You can believe what you want to believe. But if you identify yourselves with those people who were cheering, someone just got killed. I just hope you can take a look at yourself and think, is this who I really want to be? Because that is disgusting.
I think you're mute.
Could everybody hear that?
Yeah.
It was very low.
Okay. The chat was saying
I heard it though.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's pulled up as loud as I can potentially. Sorry if it was too low for a lot of folks. But what she said was there were people in the crowd who were cheering, and straight up evil. And then on top of that, you saw this is hours after this has happened. This is in our own government on the House floor where there's a request for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk, and they're literally shouting no.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
If there's supposed to be audio, we're not hearing it.
You're not hearing any audio at all?
Everyone in the panel, are you hearing anything?
I heard one thing and then it
just the beginning, and then I think they're just not saying anything right there.
Yeah, I don't think they're saying anything.
All right. So what you need to know is somebody suggested a moment of prayer, silent prayer. Let's try it again really fast. She's asking for prayer right here. And And you hear the hubbub in the background. You hear that?
Yeah.
They're going, no.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order.
And this is in the House, right? So you have literally people that are saying, why would you want to stop down for this? Why would you want to have a prayer in this instance? Which, you talk about evil, man. I don't really know how to go with that. Yeah, anyway, it's insane to me. Like I said, that's the crazy thing for me is I've never been super political at all. And I mentioned this yesterday. Like, I think COVID woke up a lot of people. It was kind of a turn, it was a flashpoint for a lot of people. I think this will be a flashpoint for folks, but you see the way the reaction is just disgusting. Then on top of that, you had the way that this was reported yesterday. I don't know if you saw TMZ, what happened on TMZ as they were covering this live. Did you guys see this? Check out what happens. This was on their live stream yesterday as they are getting ready to announce. They just find out that Charlie Kirk has died. And in the background, people are cheering. But they say, no, that's not what happened. Here, we'll get to that here.
If he's still on the loose because they want to find him. So I would think that that's one of the main reasons they're holding this news conference. So my guess is we're going to see an image of this guy possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go.
Listen to the background.
Go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
Oh yeah, they were clearly cheering for that. Clearly, that was literally moments away. Yeah,
they tried.
They got the news first.
Yeah, you may get to this in a second, but I think they tried to say that they were watching something else, but the timing is crazy.
That was immediately right when Trump posts.
Once again, listen to the reaction in the background.
Who have somebody look at the Fox.
I want to make sure I get that because they literally say woohoo.
Yeah. Janet, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
Timing's crazy.
What car chase would make you respond like that?
Okay. There wasn't
in a car chase. You go,
there wasn't a car chase either.
Even if it was.
Well, they posted exactly. They posted that, hey, there was a car chase that was happening there, and then this other team was going, and they had to address the tone deaf laughter. The problem is that there was no car chases. And at what point do you react with woohoo and clapping during a fucking car chase?
Disgusting.
Their narrative is false, and someone said the TMZ thing was debunked. They debunked themselves.
Yeah.
They're the ones who they fucked themselves over here. And not that TMZ is some super credible source or anything like that, but once again, based in New York, super lefty lib, right? So yes, you're going to hear, and man, listen, I know a white girl cheer when I hear a white girl cheer. That was definitely a white girl cheer in the background, right?
100%.
Let's just be real about that.
Yeah, car chase is crazy. They should have said they were having a birthday party or something. It's crazy that you could even, and that's so easily able to find out if that was happening at that time. That's just crazy.
It's disgusting. Also disgusting is the response to people in education to this. I don't know if you saw that the assistant. What's that?
Oh, nothing. Yes, I've seen lots of things already. And I'm not surprised. I've got kids in school. I know what their teachers say.
It's disgusting.
It makes me so angry.
Well,
but this is the problem, Let's just get your kids out of the public school system, please, people.
Or at least enforce the idea that if you teach math, go fucking teach math and don't talk about anything else.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Well,
exactly.
But who's teaching that math? And are they cheering on political violence as this lady, the assistant dean of students, I would say a mid to high level position, upper management when it comes to the Middle Tennessee. Once again, Middle Tennessee. This is Tennessee, guys. Middle Tennessee State has been fired after celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, which
it's just pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie.
See, this is good though. This is good that they were fired immediately, and that is a good sign. If that has happened like 2 years ago, I don't think we would have had this response.
Agree.
It was fairly swift in their actions for sure. But let's talk about the reaction to some of these kids. The kids after seeing this down in the University of Texas in Austin, which is San Francisco, Texas. That's
super. Texas doesn't claim Austin.
No, not at all. I mean, flawed. You guys live down there.
Yeah.
Right? You guys know. But give everybody like a picture really quick of what Austin is like.
Blue hair.
Bro, people walking around in gimp suits and blue hair and half naked, and black people trying to rob you when you come out of bars, comedy gigs and stuff. Like that shit is trash. I went into Austin as little as I could, to be honest.
We really avoided it.
It was terrible.
Well, here's the reaction to some of the students upon hearing Charlie Kirk's death. And yes, this will infuriate you.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view. Good that people are dying in America.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk got shot and killed today?
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
I don't really have any feelings about it. Who are you?
Which is code
Charlie
for
Kirk.
What's that?
Which is code for I approve of it.
Yeah, he smiled immediately after saying
it. Shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
See, what
Parents
this
are
person
damn
is
sharks.
doing, like that's what we need to be. That's what we need to be doing. And be out there, and then we need to be pointing and laughing at them and telling them they're terrible people. Because humans are social creatures, and they think about being judged, and that's the problem. Is this has become acceptable.
Yeah.
So don't make it acceptable.
Yep.
Can I say
Again,
something?
I'm
real
not
quick?
advocating for violence, but shoot, call them all the names in the book.
Phoenix, yeah.
I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to be just like I'm going to be careful how I say this. I've been on both sides politically. I one time quite a leftist back in the day. I've seen both sides, and I can tell you that. Let me word it like this. I hope this is a wake up call to the right. Where have you been? Okay, when on the left, they are politically activated like you do not understand. And I can tell you the right doesn't understand this. Mm-hmm. Anytime I talk to the right, it's money, 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 money. Money solves everything. Money, 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 money. That's all I give a shit about. So you've had everything infiltrated. If there was someone wandering around your house, I guarantee you're going to go, who is that person? You're calling the police. You're not going to wait. You're not going to wait around for shit to happen. You're on it. Where has everyone been? You've been infiltrated in every single institution, everywhere, and you did nothing. Where have you been as parents when these teachers came in and started talking about really horrible stuff? Where were you? I don't see them. I never saw the picket lines. I never saw anyone rallying against doing anything. So what I'm hoping, so this isn't me yelling at anyone. I'm hoping this is a wake-up call that we have been infiltrated, and we need to start getting to the bottom of that, being more active as possible, as much as we possibly can, and starting to get rid of this little plague. And I say that, I'm saying this legally, I'm saying this as far as firing these people, things like that. And we need to be more proactive and awake to what's going on, because if you were awake and you were paying attention, I don't think we'd be in this position. Because I guess the last thing I'll say is we saw a lot of news clips of all these news outlets and everyone saying, all these violent rhetoric. Where was the right side? Well, you didn't hear it because we don't have a voice. You gave that position, you gave that voice to the left, because when your kid said, I want to be an artist, or I want to be in media, or I want to do this and this, it's like, well, you didn't make money that way. And so you have no voice. And so if there is a voice controlled entirely by one side, and it's in print, media, social network, every single where, in every single place, then imagine what someone on the left is. It's all they're hearing 24 hours a day is the right are evil, the right are fascist, the right is this, and this, and that's all they hear, and it never ever stops, and they're never hearing another opinion. We even saw this with the train stabbing. They weren't even aware of this because the news and that voice won't allow them to see it. So we can get angry at the left all day long going, guys, how are you not on our side? How are you not seeing this logic? It's because they're not even seeing it at all. Now, I wish the left, kind of like me, would wake up and go, something seems fishy. When you're telling me that my neighbor is a fascist, I'll put it that way. I think I'm gonna talk to them. That's what I would like to see. That is what I did. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to my neighbor before you tell me that they're all of a N regime, if you know what I'm talking about, the fascist regime. Yeah, but you know what I meant for that. You know what I mean? I wish they would get out of that echo chamber, but we've allowed an echo chamber to exist. Yeah. So please become more proactive. Please start talking to your kids. Get more involved in the communities and debates and picket lines and everything. Please do that, because we have not entered that space. They control all of it. You control the voice. You own the people. You can have as many weapons as you want. The voice will always conquer the weapon every time. And that's what Shirley Kirk was doing, and his voice was effective. Let's continue down that. Let's get that voice back. That's what I say.
Well, and I think it's important too to call out specifically that this is. I want to make a distinction between liberals and what we're seeing. Like I have a daughter who, she's only 21. She's a young mom. She's kind of liberal, but she texted the family group chat yesterday, and she's like, "This is horrible. Like, I can't believe this." And she's a young liberal woman, and this is not liberalism. What we're seeing is not liberals. This is a far left, Marxist, anti-human, psychopathic ideology that has co-opted the left. So so I don't like this left versus right, liberal versus. This is not a liberal versus conservative issue, in my opinion. This is a good versus evil thing that we're in. But unfortunately, the evil has co-opted the left.
Yeah,
I think everybody's leaned left. At some, what's the old saying about when you're young you're left, or you're liberal, and as you get older you go right, whatever it was
the heart and the brain thing. You don't have a heart if you're not left when you're young, and you don't have a brain if you don't go right when you're adult.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to hear anything about people having a heart, especially when you see videos like this of the youth standing on the street corner singing this. This is, when you talk about evil, this is fucking evil.
That's somebody who's never been in a fight in their life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Skinny little fucking dork that goes to some college who did, anyways.
No, and if that doesn't make your stomach churn and just fill you with rage, and you're right, Fox. Like, there's not enough people who have been punched, who have not been punched in the nose in society. And man, oh man, like, once again, it's not about physical violence, but this guy didn't have a dad who slapped on the back of the head, or a grandpa that said, "Hey, why don't you, like, what the fuck are you doing?" Like that's ridiculous. But hey, guess what? At least there's Reddit. I don't know if you guys saw Reddit this morning, and specifically Reddit music, r/music, the trolling that they put. I just want to show you guys the top songs on the Reddit chart that have been conveniently posted by Reddit, and I'll let you guys be the judge here. Let's go kill those for a second. Childish Gambino, This Is America. New Radicals, You Get What You Give. Alanis Morissette, Ironic. Paramore, That's What You Get. And Bobby Darwin, Goodbye Charlie. These have been manually curated by the people at r/music. Not even fucking human.
Yeah, it's all hissing demons. That's all I hear. That's all I see. I just can't. It's crazy.
Can we? Oh man, where do we go? Let's talk about. We work in the gaming space.
I'm gonna get up out of here because I'm getting pissed off every second. I'm not gonna lie.
I hear you, brother.
It's gonna
I
fuck
hear
up
you.
my day.
No, man, I appreciate you, Flawed. Thanks, brother.
I appreciate
thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Love you guys. You guys take
Love
it
you
easy,
guys.
Man.
Have a good day, guys. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course, Des.
Thank you. Like, I think it is very important to know what's going on in society. And that is a really sucky process sometimes to actually take a hard look and see this stuff. And it's not about stoking the fires, but it's like knowing your enemy, and again, this is not about just anyone who's left of center. This is not about your just normal Democrat. Okay. And of course, unfortunately, normal Democrat is becoming this, but you get it. We're talking about like the far leftists, and they are really infiltrating everywhere. And you have to know that. And it's uncomfortable and it sucks, but you got to know it to move forward. And I do understand though, having it like Flawed and Mode having to leave. Like, I get it too. Sometimes just like, you need to know when to take your breaks and like, remember like, okay, I've got good things in my life. Like, I can't tell you how many times I told my husband, like, I am so grateful for you yesterday. I told side scrollers, I'm grateful for them. I'm like counting the blessings in my life and focusing on the good so you don't get too caught up in the being blackpilled. But you do need to know these things in order to act accordingly in the future and how to, especially if you have children.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say that in case anybody was thinking like, oh, we're stoking the fires, we're getting everybody riled up. No, we're seeing actually an accurate representation right now on media of how people are reacting. And it's important to know that.
No one should be blackpilled. No one should be blackpilled. Again, I will keep reminding you, someone took a gun to a microphone fight. That means the opposition is desperate. And that is why it is, in my opinion, critical to learn from this. It's like, what can we do now? Well, what we can do is see this. We can see that there is a group of people out there that wishes us harm and all this other stuff. Be aware of them. How can we rectify that? What are solutions that we can put out there? Charlie Kirk, clearly effective using his voice. Let's get more microphones. Let's not shy away from that. Let's not resort to exactly what they just did. That's desperation. The voice is working. Let's get that message more out there. And that's what I'm hoping that we can do. Do not get blackpilled from this. Obviously, this is horrible, but look at this as obviously we're effective. Look, we won it. I'll say from my side, we won an election. We're starting to see some change. This is a positive. Stay on that momentum because we're watching them desperate. We're getting control of the battlefield. Stay on that path that was working would be my opinion on that.
Once you get blackpilled, they achieved what they were trying to get out of you.
Bingo.
Once you get blackpilled and you shut down, you're just sitting in your anger and you just want revenge, then now we're all down. Now we're all down in the mud. Now we're all down here just killing each other. And that's exactly the goal. So as hard as it is, you have to try to, and I'm not saying I'm some righteous person, but I just mean this in a general sense, try to stay righteous, try to stay in your convictions, and, I say this all the time, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, or some people don't like when I say this, that the answer, and this doesn't mean have a soft hand, but the answer is love. It actually, through times like this, you have to love people and you have to push through it. But that does not mean in any way that we don't come down hard on this bull crap. It doesn't mean, like me not disciplining my child is not a sign that I love them. That means I'm a bad parent. So if my child steps out of line, I discipline them because I love them. And right now we need a dad in the room. And by a dad in the room, I just mean adults in general to push back and put a stop to this. And how exactly to do that, I don't know. But we got to keep talking about it.
There's a lot of irony in what you just said as far as having the adults in the room. Right, because I think that a lot of these folks didn't have the adult in the room for them, which has driven them into this insanity here. There's so much truth in that. So much truth in that. I wanted to like I said, we work in the gaming space. We talk about things happening in the gaming space. And I'll tell you, this has been, when I talk about a mask off moment, we knew the mask was slipping, but my, oh my, has it slipped in a major way. Let's start off with, well, this guy, Jeff Grubb. Now, if you recall, let's start here real fast. Do you remember this famous clip?
People in the industry to be a little bit louder. Maybe say, we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. The games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Pretty famous clip in our space at this point, and it totally backfired on her. But one of the people on that couch at that GameStop stream was this guy, Jeff Grubb. And Jeff Grubb still works in the industry. And wouldn't you know us, anti-vaxxer finally gets shot. This is from,
Jesus, dude.
He's retweeting this over here. Tells you everything you need to know about that. Also, formerly of Kotaku, Brian Crescente, one of the founders, mocked death of Charlie Kirk on social media hours after fatal shooting here. This was his post. Imagine being upset that the architect of the insurrection attempt, an active COVID and election denier, and climate change denier are getting shot. Who knows how many deaths can be attributed to this dude? And I think that's the thing about this, is that this guy, when we were talking about two different worlds that we live in, this guy clearly is in a different world. This idea of how, like, you hear this all the time. How many lives has he ended because of his rhetoric? How many times, and you hear this over and over and over, and, them puffing out their chest. You killed so many people because of this. It's fucking pathetic. And once again, these are the people who, Kotaku is, when you look at that conspiracy board, there's a lot of string that goes back to Kotaku here. And Kotaku being a once major player in the space. Also this as well. He had this, Charlie Kirk's boys should have been used the same team that faked Trump's shooting. This is what happened when you try to save money on your false flag operations. Fucking despicable, these people.
Yeah, and that tweet you just showed before that is a perfect example that, when we talk about how the left and right, in many cases, we're literally living on two different timelines. I honestly, to some degree, obviously some of them are malicious and liars, but I think a lot of these people, because they're the echo chamber that they're in, and this is what can hopefully change from this, is that they literally think that January 6th is what it was. They think all the vaccines are safe and effective. Like, we're living in two separate dimensions. It's the craziest thing.
You talk about the bubble, and I think this is actually a really good example of this. Former Kotaku writer Alyssa Mercante. Shocker. Right-wing content creators are claiming people are celebrating over here on Blue Sky, and their followers are taking these statements as truth with no proof. Get off Twitter. It's infected with brain rot. No one in my feed is doing this. I'm sure there are outliers, but it's being portrayed as if there is a platform-wide thing. This person responds, to be fair, there seems to be a lot of celebrating. I'm not seeing it on my feed, but I believe you. Right? And I think that, Fox kind of goes with what you were saying right there. This idea that, hey, I'm not seeing it, so it's not happening. They got the mask over their eyes right here. Des, you were agreeing?
I mean, I literally saw stuff on my Twitter from an old Destiny streamer that we still follow each other. And I saw lots of responses on there, which prompted my tweet earlier. Like, thank goodness I got canceled 2 years ago, because I am so glad to be done with that group of people. And I saw stuff on there, and that was on Twitter. That wasn't even Blue Sky. So that's ridiculous. And I'm since there's a lawsuit going on, I will say, we don't want to. There are some liars out there, alleged liars, and I don't really believe anything that they put out there, what they say is on their feed or not. Yeah. So.
Well, the response from people, not just in the media, but the game development has been fucking disgusting as well. This is from Frittata over on X talking about, well, here, I'll just read it. Holy fuck, the developer who worked on Ghost of Yotoi is celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. So edgy, so fun.
Yeah.
He died doing what he loved, being transphobic, racist, bigot. Here, you can see the tweets there. But hey, after you get noticed, why not double down? Ghost of Yotoi has doubled down on celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I've been told that the Twitter has noticed me across the room. Ooh woo. Yes. And they said, and we are actively messaging Sucker Punch to remove you from your position as well. Coworkers feel unsafe around you. But she's not alone. She's not wrong. She's not alone either, because this is from Legacy Killer HD. There's also seemingly a number of game devs liking this post over here. You can see everybody associated here from Coalition. Hey, noticing a theme here? They, them, she, they. Not safe for work over here.
These developers don't understand. People were already kind of boycotting games, and I think almost to a certain extent, some of them are boycotting them over stuff that I would say is not even that relevant. But I think now any hint of this sort of bullcrap is not going to go over well for these developers. People like this is a turning point. I don't know.
I hope so.
I don't want to sound silly about it, but it could be a turning point in video games too. Like people. I actually don't think that game was going to do as good as the first one, just because people are, sick of the crap. But that stuff right there, they're going to lose money on that game now. Like, who's going to buy that game? Like the four purple hair retards that made it.
We'll see.
Come on.
Yeah, it'll do fine.
Yeah, can I say something? Here's my response real fast to that. And again, I will speak on behalf of me. If my side made a Marvel movie, let's just say, no one would see it. They wouldn't. No one on the other side would ever see it, ever. They would be boycotting it completely because it's an ideology. I know everyone on the right has Netflix, Disney. They have all that stuff, and they find 1,000 excuses. Because people go like, hey, have you seen that movie? No, I don't buy or watch any of their shit. Once I left that industry, over. I don't give them a single fucking penny, nor will I ever. So it's like, I hope this wakes up some people. I really, really do. I hope you understand that when you say that you can vote with your wallet, yeah, you can. Please actually do it, though, because you never do. You'll find a million excuses not to. Again, I'm not trying to be, I promise I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm trying to hopefully see this as a wake-up call that let's do that, please. Can we please stop buying this stuff? Can we please stop finding 1,000 well, my kids liked it, so I got, it's no, look, men used to storm beaches knowing they were going to get killed in war, and I now talk to people on this side, and it's like pulling teeth to fucking turn off Netflix. They can't do it. It's just, I don't know, that's tough. Guys, we need stronger men. Start behaving like fucking men. Thank you.
With that said, hello, Mally, the strongest man I know. How you doing?
Hey, I'm okay.
Would like to, it's a open carousel today. You could say a carousel of progress, if I can bring it back to Disney for you, Mally. Just would love for you to give us your initial thoughts and everything. We're kind of going through and seeing the reaction here, but I'd love to hear your reaction to everything that's happening.
Can I bounce real quick? I have to go.
Of course, Des. Yeah, we'll see you later.
Sorry,
Des.
Mally, to leave right with
you. Have a good one.
All right,
see
bye,
you, Des.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Personally, I cried, and I am not a crier. I've lost people that I actually personally know, and I don't really cry about it. And I never knew Charlie. I never knew Charlie personally. I never had that privilege. But I feel like it got to me because we lost such a beacon of light. We lost somebody who's built his entire platform on good faith conversation, and somebody who was probably one of the only people that was actually willing to listen to the other side without getting upset about it. And that it just, broke my heart. I was already on X yesterday when the news hit, and so my entire team and I just kind of sat refreshing for several hours, hoping to hear some better news. But honestly, after hearing that he didn't make it, and after seeing the video, it didn't look like he had much hope. But after getting the news, it just kind of the anger settled in, and it's like I am very torn. I haven't streamed this week. I haven't streamed yesterday or today, and I'm not going to because I was gonna just take some time. But the reason is because that if I do, I'm gonna say some heinous shit. I'm not gonna lie. All that's on my mind right now is just anger. I am so mad that we have allowed our country and our world to get like this right now, where violence is just the answer, and that there's seemingly no way to combat that. Because they don't want to listen to conversation. Charlie was the epitome of that. And they don't want to listen to anything else. And we're supposed to be the side that doesn't cause fights, but it's getting harder and harder to keep that mentality.
You know, there's never been a time in history where any society with freedom didn't have to fight for it at some point. And we're getting to the point now where it kind of feels like we're so close to a point where we're going to have to fight for this thing again. I hope not. You know, like, I mean, I'm not in the military, but I don't have training, but I'm not trying to sound like I'm not a Billy badass, but I feel that fire. It's like, they're not taking this from us. We're not going to let it happen. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help, go where I have to go and do what I have to do. But, you know, it's crazy to sound, I don't want to be hyperbolic about it, but I mean, we all saw what happened yesterday. This is serious shit. Like, I mean, this is a pivotal point in this country. And collapse, I guess.
No, I hear that. And I agree. I think there's a lot of people who feel the same way. Mally, we talked about kind of the rage that people feel, the anger at you know, John Rocker of all things, a former baseball player, had a tweet that has 123,000 likes on it. And I think this like sums it up very well. Charlie Kirk should not die for having a peaceful dialogue with people he disagrees with.
So true.
Like, yeah, like the most basic law, the most basic idea of like, hey, we should be able to have a conversation, right? Yeah.
No, they lit whoever did this, because I'm not going to go pointing fingers at anybody because we don't know who it is. Is they lit a fire under millions of people's asses. Seriously, I just tweeted it this morning. I said what did I say? Something like the leftists are getting pushed moderate and the moderates just got radical. Like they just shoved everyone one notch or two in the same direction.
Yeah.
There's plenty of lefties I've seen that are leaving their side because of this, because they don't like what's happening. Like, I get it.
I think and this goes back to kind of the radicalization of folks coming off of what we saw with talking about what was on the bullet casings or the on the bullets that were killed, obviously the trans ideology and stuff. And I tweeted this out. I said, you want to see more people radicalized against your ideology? Congratulations. But once again, this just seems it's been a drip. And I feel like the faucet has turned on in a major way here. But bringing it back to games, it's funny because this is, we mentioned all these people that have been called out for wishing death or celebrating the death. Legacy Killer HD over on X has been doing a good job of compiling a list of all the developers and publishers who have been dancing on a man's grave. And now guess what? Wouldn't you know it? He has people wishing death on him just for pointing this out. All over defending the principle of empathy, right? Not defending views I disagree with, but that of children growing up without a father, a widowed man, a human taken in the most cruel way. Right here, you want Legacy Killer taken out because he has some empathy over death? Yes, he should have died when he was facing a health scare. If he's using his second lease on life to humanize a neo-Nazi bigot. It's that part. It's the complete incessant name calling that we know it's empty. That's why we don't take it seriously, but they don't. They're carrying all of those
really serious words, racist, Nazi, whatever they may be, with full meaning and then some, because they're extra mad about it. That's the part that set us on this path. And that's the only reason that I've even mentioned Democrats being responsible, is because I don't know who shot him. I don't know what that's about. But I do know there's only one side of the aisle that has been pushing a violent rhetoric.
And
there is not a single conservative that would have done what happened yesterday.
And also, too, one thing that concerns me is how many, because it's definitely not zero, of these replies on the internet are bots that are injected to stow division online to further divide us. I mean, I saw a statistic a while back that said as much as like 80% of all the public discourse, especially surrounding like political stuff, like divisive stuff, are like foreign bots that are injected to literally just stoke the flames of division. So, you know, it's really important when you get online, you start reading this stuff, there's a good chance you're arguing with a bot and you're getting angry and you're changing because of a bot that is there to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, there are people who have bot thoughts, and then bringing it back to games for a second, Savvy has put together a thread of, these are people who work in the industry, and look at some of the titles that they have. Epic Games, Trust and Safety. They work in trust and safety, and they're over here celebrating the death of this person. Bruce Napick over here celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk over here. Retweeting, right-wing media ecosystem operates by stoking hatred and anger and division every single day. I don't, like, maybe this is my bubble that I'm missing. Am I missing something here as we're here talking about like having to turn the other cheek and love? That is hatred to these people?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. And
I mean, if Charlie was the epitome of a peaceful, loving discussion, he was willing to have what we consider to be complete loony bins walk up to him and potentially give him new insight or provide a new perspective. He was always willing to leave that door open to have to be proven about something, to have his mind changed. And they shot him for it. So yeah, no, any kind of empathy, communication, or attempt to understand one another is a threat to them. It's all violence to them.
Can I just say, if the developers of Arc Raiders Embark are watching this, please lock down your social media team. Don't say anything stupid. I've never been this excited for a video game in my entire freaking life. Don't fuck this up for me. I'm begging you.
You know, you see some of the things that these people are saying here. There aren't many people in the world whose death would make me smile. This is one of them. What a perfect time to be at a bourbon festival. You know, it would be sad if it wasn't so pathetically true that these people are fucking broken. And by the way, let's point out some of the, you know, do we see some similarities here? Let's just notice some trends here. He, him, right? We got this guy over here. We have another he, him over here. We have, I believe, we have a they, them here. Like this is a reoccurring theme when it comes to these folks, the social justice aspect of it. This is every single media outlet. The IDGA, by the way, the International Game Developers Association, championing this. Awesome, great. But it's interesting. Tony Bruno, who does a sports show of all things, who was a big radio show. They're starting to notice outside of the video game space, something that we've been talking about for years now on the show. So can we confirm video game companies hire some of the most mentally unstable people? Yeah. Yes. Welcome to the party, pal.
Well, I think they almost, like, over the last decade, I think they've almost kind of been forced to meet certain like quotas of, you know, females and males, certain skin colors. Like they've had to go out of their way to push all this, you know, inclusive, BS to get us to where we are.
I would say real fast that, like, you know, we're not seeing anything that any one of us is shocked by. I'm confident that any of us would never wish death on anyone. I'll speak for myself. I hated Kamala, and boy, did I hate Biden. I would never, ever cheer on anything that would unfortunately happen to them. You know, maybe, you know, some legal issues or something like that, you know, or whatever, or not getting elected, certainly, but I would never dance on anyone's grave. Where I want to get with this is, okay, guys, we get it. No one is surprised by this. How do we fix it? Here's how you do that. How you fix this is we start getting involved. Stop relying on these people to give us entertainment. We need to start making our own. We can call them out. I wouldn't make fun of these people, act like they don't exist. What I don't want this to be is the same way we treat school shooters and stuff like that. We talk so much about the shooter, we forget about the kids and the unfortunate lives that were lost. What we need to do is start going, okay, here's a list of the companies that now we are not buying from. And by the way, none of us should be buying anything from them. And you just very peacefully stop. You're on the list of, hey, guys, we're not going to do that. We have shows like this where we can remind everyone, hey, here's some companies that maybe we don't want to give our money to. And what do we do it in the background? We start fostering and creating new companies with our own values or whatever, or neutral values rather. And that's what we start building. We don't just keep complaining and sitting doing nothing. Let's start building culture, building art and new media, game companies, you name it. Let's start doing that, and you start getting control of the voice. That's how you make a difference.
And not to make this about us, but I remember, you had a tweet right after King of the Cart that we did. And that was literally my pitch to you when it came to side scrollers.
That's why I came here.
Right. Is the idea that we got to stop talking. We have to start doing. And that's why, having these conversations on YouTube, we have to temper our conversation. We have to hold back on YouTube, right? Yes, we are live over on Rumble. Yes, on Kick. Yes, on Twitch. But most importantly, over on Plus, right? That's why we push that so hard, because for us to truly make a difference, we need your help. Because yes, we do want to be the next Netflix, but for gamers in our own little world over here. We want to produce all this content. In a couple of weeks, we're going to Florida. We're going to be doing some stuff there, right? We have to provide an alternative. And that was the sell job to Phoenix at the start was, look,
huge.
We can't be taught. Well, yes, we're going to talk about this stuff, but we also have to do something about it. And Charlie was doing something. He was a doer. And, he was doing it on such a larger scale than what we are doing right now. But the point is that you just have to start. You have to create an alternative. You don't like an award show? Cool. Create another one. You don't like this show? Cool. Do it, And yes, it takes money. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes resources. But you just fuck, dude. I haven't made $1 in 3 years working on the show, right? It's because it's not about that. It's about doing. And that's the most important thing to me. That's why side scrollers exist, was to do and stop talking. Yes, we talk on a day-to-day basis, but what can we do more?
I would urge everyone out there real fast is that if you do have some subscription to Hulu or whatever, consider taking at least one of those subscriptions, taking however amount of money from that and start giving them to creators or organizations out there that you feel are leading the charge in a positive momentum. I'm an old hippie. So I'm not trying to beg for money here, but it really does money runs the world, and maybe start considering putting that money into creators and organizations that you believe in so that they can create the institutions that we desperately need. And at the very least, start showing people that we do want to give that money and put that money into those resources, making those other companies nervous about that. Yeah. I urge everyone to do that.
And I just saw, sorry.
Good, Nolly.
I just saw somebody in the chat say that we're past voting with our wallet. I would like to correct you very directly and say, no, we're not. That is kind of all that we have. If you're going to act like we're past voting with our wallet, then you're saying that we do need to resort to violence because they're not listening to communication. So I'm not on that team. I'm not trying to go out and start a civil war. While I feel like that is a scary path option, one of the branches in our future, I don't believe it's the only one. And much like Phoenix is saying, if we adjust our lifestyles and we stop funding these voices that are using their voices for evil, whether it's a celebrity or a company or an influencer, they are using their voice to perpetuate violence, to instigate people, and to demonize anyone who disagrees with them. That is the issue here. And if you guys voted with your wallet, and I know we say that phrase a lot, if you use your money to give to companies, creators, celebrities, influencers that are sending the message you support, then that is the message you will start to hear. because just like Charlie and just like this show and just like me and all of those shows that you watch on the internet, like Craig said, they take money. Charlie didn't just go out there for shits and giggles. He went out there because he knew he was making a difference. And you guys kept him going. His supporters kept him going. They were able to fund what he was doing and keep him going. So if you're not going to fund stuff like that, you're not going to see it anymore.
Yeah.
And once again, we're not talking about us. We're talking about everybody in this space, right? Everybody, whether it's Mally, whether it's Rumble, whatever, we go down the line, right? I think Phoenix is right. You know, you have to take something that you know, and you're just gonna have to sacrifice. Like you got to sacrifice watching that new show on Netflix, whatever, the Vampire Hunters. you gotta sacrifice watching the
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough. As someone who literally can't watch or play anything, I totally get it, and I certainly understand if you have a family and stuff like that. But the reason why we're here, as far as like why we don't have any entertainment and stuff like that, is because we never actually really tried. And so I'm just trying to light that fire. And if you're a content creator out there, I would also ask if you maybe find some independent artists out there or whatever that are starting to try and build a project. Give them a voice and a platform to show other people that they have options out there. Because I get it. Look, when you're a normal person out there who's not political or anything like that. Look, you're like, well, look, these are all my only entertainment options. I have a long day at work. I just want to watch something. So I'm asking creators out there, maybe try to start looking for other voices out there to promote. That way people can start seeing those options and maybe trying to build something.
Yeah, and these companies have done a really good job of designing their platforms and putting out the kind of content that makes you feel like, gives you that FOMO. So it's hard to get rid of them. I haven't subscribed to Netflix or Disney or ESPN. Oh, that's all under the same umbrella for a long time. It takes like after like a week, I don't even know what the hell's going on. I have no idea what Netflix has, and my life is perfectly fine. Cut the cord of places like Netflix, and honestly, one of the toughest ones, and this is a big problem, is Amazon. Amazon in Bezos and the New York Times, their whole machine is, I don't know how you deal with that one, because everybody shops on Amazon. I don't know, get your butt to an actual brick and mortar store and I don't know. But all these streaming services, cut the cord, and like they're saying, go within a week, you're completely over it. You don't give a crap about these shows anymore, and go support side scrollers, go support Mally Mouse, you know, and to support other things besides these companies that hate you.
Amen. You'd be surprised how fast, by the way, how fast things turn. If like we all literally did, if you turn off the weight of the world around you, right? If you just go like, well, me, you know, like, believe me, God, I've made a lot of sacrifices in my life, believe me. And if I ever thought about, well, what's the point of that? Because the rest of the world isn't going to follow. If that is your mindset, nothing ever changes. So what you have to do, it's very hard, is just focus on what can I do? And you pray the rest of the world follows with you. And if they don't, at the very least, you have your morals and your principles, and you can look your friend, your family, your children, at least in the eyes and say, I stood my ground and I did the part that I could do. Hopefully that can work for y'all. And I hope, because it does make some change.
No, sorry to interrupt. They've been telling us since we were kids, you got to stand up for what you believe in, even if you are standing alone. You can't just let them steamroll you, or there won't be anyone left.
But here's the reality, is that you're not alone, right? You're not. There's way more of us that have just been bullied into submission, for lack of a better word, because you're wrong, you're this, you're a phobe, whatever. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like what you're talking about, Phoenix, you know, hey, I heard your neighbor was a horrible Nazi bigot. And you're like, what? They don't seem like a horrible Nazi bigot. So I went to go talk to them, and they're like,
I should talk to them. Yeah.
They're like, you're not a horrible Nazi bigot at all. Right. Which is amazing, because everybody here, I know for a fact, has had their name thrown in the mud for whatever reason. Right. And I do take that personally, because I know that I'm not any of those things, right? So, you know, that's why for me, looking at the response I mentioned the people that I worked with previously, you know, kind of their response. Well, they all had black squares in 2020. No crosses in their avatars or Facebook or X posts in the last day or so. No well wishes. No, violence isn't the answer. responses. It's all been like, oh, interesting, funny. You reap what you sow, which for that I say good fucking riddance. Good fucking riddance, you piece of shit. You know? And I've always felt that, no, it's okay. We can have different opinions, you know? But
I can actually like verify that in the background. I have to say, I'll say between you and I, you are the most accepting and compassionate as far as other opinions and other values. I can 100% actually back that up.
Well, thank you. But I think that's the thing is like my name has been, you know, people who used to watch me a decade ago and they're like, you've changed. And it's like, no, I haven't. I do know what a male is. I do know what a female is. And that's my cardinal sin, you know? And because, you know, I've always known that because I believe in science, I am now a right-wing bigot because I do believe that it is better to have a mom and a dad.
I should have known that before I came on this podcast. I didn't know you thought boys and girls are different, dude. I never would have showed up to this thing.
I know. But to see the like, and I think that's been the most like to say that side scrollers is more important now. Mally is more important now. Silver Fox is more important now than ever is an understatement because you see the way these people have responded to this. And to be clear, that's not everybody at the Ghost of Yotoy studio. It's not. But it sure as hell screams pretty fucking loud, you know, and it represents a lot of the fucking weirdos who were there who do see that. And honestly, I feel sorry for the developers who feel like they have to keep their mouth shut when it comes to these things. They can't speak on it. But now more than ever, they should speak out and be like, yo, that's not right. Why are they allowed to say that shit? How can anybody here feel like that's an okay thing to say? So you people who work in the industry, this is on you. Stop being complicit. Go out and do something. Take action. Say something. Tell them it's not okay. That's the same thing you've heard over and over again. Silence is violence.
And start telling and we need grown adults to start having the balls just to tell the simple basic truths and stop letting these delusional brats run society. It's insane. Like why are these delusional brats get to control what goes in video games or what goes in movies or what goes on social media and what's acceptable? You're letting the fucking lunatics tell me what's acceptable verbiage for the society. Get the fuck out of here. It's crazy.
No, that's something I've never ever understood either. I'm so sorry, Phoenix.
No, Mally, go.
Everybody today. But it's the funny thing I don't understand is that it was never like they couldn't go start their own thing, right? I mean, I always think about the Boy Scouts of America whenever I think about this concept, but it's like, why couldn't they just go do their own thing and appease their people and their audience? Go make all the woke stuff that you want. Go make all the girls ugly in video games. Go do all of this. There will be 15 people who buy it. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get 100. You'll do something, and you will cater to some audience. A mentally unstable one, but it's out there. But they had to take over ours because we're the ones that are successful with it. We're the ones that actually want to cater to everyone, regardless of their feelings. We're the ones that will welcome anybody. And that was just a safe enough environment for them to come in and stake their ground. And that just pisses me off. Why couldn't they just go make their own?
It's an easy answer because why create an army when you can just grab someone else's army? Like that's what they basically did. They just infiltrated and ran to the top.
Yeah.
I would say real fast, and this is a and I apologize, it's a reoccurring message of mine. But like, think about how much Charlie Kirk is, if you believe in in religion, like that. Just think about how Charlie Kirk is smiling down on all of us if we start getting that fire under our ass and we're building new businesses and we're building new art and entertainment and news facilities and all this stuff. And we're doing that and we're getting more people involved and handing more microphones to people to increase debate, not to be confused with agreeing, having discussion and moving forward that way. Look at how much he would be smiling at us and going, wow, my life had such an incredible impact. To the reverse of that, if God forbid any of us goes down the darker path and takes this country in a place that I'm hoping we don't go down, how much he just went, you made me, you turned my unfortunate death into that. So please think about him smiling down on us with us getting inspired as opposed to black pilled. Get white pilled. Do more now is what I would say.
That's exactly right. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'll say this. You see people who are going out of their way to celebrate this, and there's a growing trend online. And prior to pretty much yesterday, I don't think I would have felt this way. But this trend of people who are being called out for being just fucking evil. And you know what? I have no problem with them being pointed out at their place of work. I have no problem with them losing their job. I have zero problem with them losing their livelihood. With all due respect, if you're evil, go fuck right off. And you are evil. You are evil people. So when you see the teacher who gets fired, I have no sympathy for you. I don't. When you see the game developer who puts his foot in his mouth and I got fired for free speech. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here, you asshole. You're dancing on somebody's death. I have no sympathy for you. Good fucking luck. If it really means something to you, start your own business and do something with it.
People are too comfortable behind a screen.
These same people would cancel you in a heartbeat for saying a boy is not a girl. Okay,
right, 100%.
These same people would destroy you and your whole livelihood for way less.
Yeah, I'm done catering to the opinions of people who are blatantly delusional. Like I don't care.
And to kind of bring this back to Charlie, bring it back full circle, I guess. Charlie died, unfortunately, for something, for doing something like debating, which is obviously we've already hashed that over and that's insane. But look what we're doing right now. The fact that everybody is talking about this, and look, the lunatics are lost. Hopefully, I would love to believe that they're not, but maybe they are. But everybody else, left of center, and center right and beyond, are galvanized and being like, this is not going to shut us down. We're getting louder. So keep telling the truth. Keep telling the truth, calling out the BS when you see it, and let's don't let them blackpill you, and let's get this country back on track, because as unfortunate as it is, Charlie's life may have gotten this country like we were already kind of shifting back because of Trump and stuff, but I think this just brought a shitload of wind behind those sails, and it may actually turn this country around. It might actually be a turning point.
Yeah. No, I said it before, but if what had happened to Charlie yesterday occurred with Trump, which it was millimeters from occurring, this would have happened last year. This wave is occurring because we lost someone. It was fatal. Everybody was waiting to see what happened to Charlie before they made any kind of, I mean, there were some people, but it didn't get angry. I don't think that anybody got angry until the news broke that he wasn't going to come out of there. And that changed our tune, and it should.
Yeah. A quick update that the FBI is announcing, and honestly, I feel like this is kind of low, but $100,000 reward for information on the assassin. I feel like probably should be a little bit higher. We could talk about this fucking asshat on MSNBC. I reacted to this live. You guys all saw this clip yesterday of him being like, it may have been a supporter just shooting off a spare round. Did you guys see that clip yesterday?
Yeah.
Fucking disgusting.
Acting like we're in the 1920s and there's cowboys outside celebrating. Like, what the fuck kind of a setting?
Right, 100%.
And what precedent does he have to think that this, like, have you ever seen a single Charlie Kirk rally or whatever, town hall, whatever you want to call that, where you heard a single gunshot go off? This is the crazy, I mean, like, did he get fired? I think he got fired, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he did get fired. Yes, he got fired, and good. Fucking rightfully so. You know who hasn't been fired and in fact is promoted? Guess what? This fucker right here, promoted on the front page of Twitch every fucking day. Let's see what he had to say about and maybe
favorite person on the planet.
Well,
I'll say Destiny's worse, but yeah, I get him with you.
Can you last 2 minutes of this?
Maybe.
I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm pissed. Turn it off. No.
Left wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man?
Wow. Never heard that.
What the actual
That's crazy.
fuck? I can't, I mean, there's so many thoughts I have. Why does a person like that have a platform? Why is a person like that still being supported by any followers? Why does a person like that still have an audience? How is he not being torn down by the people that support him? How does anyone hear that? I mean, these people aren't on the same planet that I've been living on, thinking they don't have value for human life at all.
No.
I'm so shocked. I really am.
I am not calling for an ounce of violence, but stuff like that, he's going to piss off the wrong person, because that is crazy thing to say.
And not just the fact that it's for me, it's the platform that's promoting him. That's promoting him. If you go to the front page of Twitch right now, guess what? There he is, right there. Right there. Second thing in Just Chatting in IRL. By the way, curated list. This is a curated list that they have created right here. Just pop it on in there. They're promoting this. It's fucking pathetic. You know, and we'll wrap here in a minute, but I wanted to kind of point this out really fast. This last thing here. You see people in education. We talk about it from the inside out here. Look at this guy's title really fast. Zachary Stewart, the Assistant Director of Admissions at Hampshire College in Massachusetts, right? All right. Made a post online mocking the death of Charlie Kirk and also mourning that it wasn't Trump who was shot first, right? So here's the thing. He says this, blah, 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 right here. The only people I feel bad for are his children, simply because they have to be reckoned with what kind of a person he was. He was a horrendous human being. This was the Assistant Director of Admissions. So, hey, let's just say you aren't a psycho with pronouns in your bio, right? Do you think that the Assistant Director of Admissions will give you any chance of getting into that university? If you aren't aligned step by step by step for everything that he believes? No. Literally going to gatekeep you out. Let's just keep it 100 on that. Joe Rogan actually found out about this yesterday while he was talking to Charlie Sheen. I want to see kind of the response here. I've yet to see this. I'm sure he's going to say what everybody else says. It's awful.
Should we bring this up? I guess we have to. So this just happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got shot.
It's fucking awful.
And is he dead?
No, I don't think so.
That's what was just
One of the guys out there just said it was
spoken
confirmed that
in
he's
the
dead.
in the lobby was just
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that's confirmed.
Whoa.
murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
I was not expecting Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Charlie Sheen to say that for sure. And I think, look, I'm sure Charlie Sheen is kind of a Looney Tune, right? Had some serious issues. But the fact that he can even see that, at its core, they're just finding out about this. And that's the first thing that everybody thought. Murdered for having an opinion that's different from somebody else's.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh.
Go ahead, Mally. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that it's very symbolic. Like, Charlie was murdered holding a microphone, sitting in a chair, wearing a shirt that said the word freedom. His wife and two youngest children standing off to the side, surrounded by team members for a company that he had built. I mean, it's symbolic that he was then shot so brutally, while that was the image that was being displayed in front of everybody.
Phoenix said it best, I think. The idea of bringing a gun to a microphone fight.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say real fast too. When you're really down, when life has really kicked your ass, we've all probably been there. I certainly have. Mm-hmm. Everything is not going right. It is the easiest thing in the world to do is to keep focusing on the negative. Keep focusing on everything that has brought you down until it corrupts you to the point where you just kind of you give up. You're just like, well, life hates me and I'm going to keep losing, right? One of the hardest things you can do is to try to use that as momentum to get out of that. And what I'm urging everyone to do, it is very easy to keep watching these clips and to get angrier and angrier and angrier, and to maybe feel hopeless. What I'm hoping can come from this is for that you to get the strength to get up and to use this as momentum to get out of this and to inspire others to join you in doing this the right way, building, creating, and spreading as much positivity and love as you I know that sounds hippie-ish, but as much as you possibly can out there to start winning this thing the right way. Please don't just sulk in how horrible these people are out there. They are. We know they are. So you don't need to keep watching more of it. You got it. Now let's start trying to build something. Let's use this to light that fire underneath us to make some change. And last thing I will say real fast is, if there are other people on the other side that are starting to think that they're starting to want to join, don't mock them. Don't do anything. You put your hand out and go, welcome to the fight. And you put aside all the other differences you have. We need as many people as we possibly can. And if they feel like they're just going to get insulted, well, then you just lost some allies. So try to be as forgiving as you can to some of them, and say, welcome aboard, and let's build something great. That's what I'll say.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. And, we talk about how this ideology, I think Shu said it earlier, it's like a constant moving target. And if you're, there's always things that are added and removed, right? And if you don't align perfectly on them, then you're out of their club. You're a bigot. You're a homophobe, racist, whatever. I think that's the difference, is that we don't need to agree on everything. There's just a common shared interest of making things better. And that's something that, whether you agree with somebody 100% on all these issues, it doesn't matter. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was reaching it across the aisle and saying, hey, let's have a conversation. I can speak from experience. I just know that the most frustrating part is that oftentimes people of that ideology don't want to have a conversation. They want to shout you down. So which to further your point, Phoenix, when somebody does actually want to have a conversation, have that conversation. Don't shame them. Welcome them in. All right. I feel like we can go all fucking afternoon, but I don't think it's necessary. I'll tell you what, we have a lot of support today, and I want to read this support. Just know we appreciate you guys. This is about action. And if you guys do kill Netflix and you want to come join on Plus, we love that. That's what allows us to take action. That's literally what this is about. So we appreciate you guys popping in. Let's get to some of that support.
Yeah, real fast. I want to say, as someone who works for you, none of the money you've been taking is going towards an infinity pool. It's towards building the infrastructure to make something great. Like, that's what it's doing. So find, whether it's us, whatever it is, please consider doing exactly what Craig just said.
Yeah. It's, yes. I don't like to talk about how I don't like to mention that I don't take money from this. But I don't, because it's not about that.
He doesn't.
Right. It's, I invest into people, I invest into ideas, and, I invest into change. And that's what we're looking to do. So, Mally, thanks for popping in. I appreciate you and spending some time. Let's make some change together, shall we?
Yeah.
Silver Fox, I know it's kind of a different show for you to be a part of, and I want to get to some of these supers here. But please tell everybody where they can find you.
Just, you can right here on Rumble, or if you're watching on Rumble, Silver Fox Gamer. I'm easy to find.
Silver Fox over on Rumble. Well, I'll give you guys the opportunity to bounce if you like. We're going to read some of this support and let you guys know how much we appreciate it.
Okay.
Like I said, but if you guys want to bounce, you're more than welcome. Thanks, Mally. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right,
Thanks, Mally.
See you next week.
All right.
If I can, 30 seconds, and then I'm going to get out of here.
By all means.
All I want is, I'm going to put a bow on this for myself, is that, please, if you take anything away from this, Phoenix probably said it better than I'm about to, but don't lose your humanity. Right now, when times like this, when it's really dark and there's really the bottom of the barrel, scraping the bottom of the barrel of evil, you have to keep your humanity. Don't let them blackpill you. Don't lose your love. Don't let them change you as a person. Because once you change as a person, this ship is going to go down way faster. If you really care about this country, if you really care about the difference between good and evil and truth and lies, keep your head on straight. Don't do anything stupid, and continue to love people. And that doesn't mean that you don't discipline. That doesn't mean you don't get to the root of the problem. It means don't lose your love. Craig, thank you guys for the invite. You run a great show. You're an excellent host. And I love your background, by the way. I love all the Mario and all that stuff. And Phoenix, you knocked it out of the park today, man. All your takes are spot on. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a beautiful day.
Thanks
so much,
you, man.
Silver.
Pleasure to have you on. We'll have him on again soon on a more regular show.
Great channel over
there. Yeah. Blabs is back. Hello, Blabs.
That is the best. I love what just happened.
What are you eating, Blabs?
This is brought to you by Haribo.
Let's go. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Let's go. Oh, man, let's end it on a little bit of levity today. All right. Let's go.
That was
literally you.
My power's back. In case people were wondering, I had electrical issues and they cut my power because they're changing cables in my area. So I didn't leave because I was crying or anything. I saw some people like, yeah, no, I literally got yeeted. I'm back.
Well, we're glad you're back, Blabs, with your gummies over here, which is good. And worked perfectly. All right. Hey, Gear came in, says this will be the most cursed live show in Sud Scroller's history. Never forget what they took from you after Kirk, as I share the same fate as we Indonesians waved the black flag to signify that our freedom is at stake. Thank you, Gear. Connor Budge says, I went to Utah Valley University for over 8 years and just graduated there in May. Hearing about what happened yesterday still shocks me and left a knot in my stomach. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I wish the best for his family. Thank you, Connor. Dreg came in and says, Tom McDonald just put out a song. It's really respectful to Charlie, and the proceeds go to Charlie's family. Let's go give that a listen. I'm curious to see what Tom McDonald had to say. Blaz, you can pull that up, please. Israel came in with the $25 direct super chat. It says, here in my county of Maricopa, Arizona, we are grieving. I know Charlie is in heaven, yet my heart goes out to his family. Let's not give in to the evil that caused this tragedy. Blessings to you. I feel like that's really, and we stressed that throughout the duration of the show, right? This idea that I feel like this is very much the case right now. You have people who are very upset about this. But did you see any riots yesterday? Did you see any cities burned down? Did you see anybody attacking whatever? Nobody went out, killed anybody. You have people saying, hey, love is the way. I'm sorry that you're going through something and that you need help and that you're mentally broken. Let us help, let's find a way to fix you. And you know what? You were perfect the way you were before you got messed up in this,
It is contradictory to your cause if you're judging the monster and then you become that monster. What you want to do is maintain who you are as best you can. Believe me, they wanted you rioting. They wanted that because they own all that media, and then they get to show that and then say, look, see, they are the enemy. I want to thank and applaud everyone for not becoming the same monster we're against right now. That's incredible work on everyone's part.
Yeah, great stuff. Nathan says the Unabomber wrote a manifesto that has a lot of people agree with nowadays, but because he did actions that got people unalived, so his ideas got rejected. That's what this Charlie Kirk situation is to me for the left. Thank you, Nathan. Steven came in, says, these people have been wanting a war for a long time. They showed over and over they didn't want discussion. These freaks want to be rid of you. However, we must continue denying them war. Continue using your voice. Thank you, Stephen. Weiss Max came in with 20. Says, Razor said last night there were rumblings in the Arizona GOP to have Charlie run for the governorship of Arizona. He probably would have used that experience to get himself to the presidency, where he would have excelled. Such a waste. Yeah, they killed a future president. Yes, I very much agree with that. Piston Honda, great name, says Destiny Vosh and Hassan have spread hate and rhetoric that resulted in real life violence. These people need to be deplatformed. Target advertisers, target streaming social media to deplatform. Let this radicalize you.
And build.
And build. Seth Neon says, unless we have a basis for morality founded by a benevolent creator, giving human life divine origin and value, this will never end. Deeply Stained Mattress says, they killed a guy that only wanted to talk, and it worked out perfectly.
No, and work it out peacefully.
And work it out peacefully. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty fucked up. But yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I misread that. I'm not a good reader. Dylan says, the issue is the left operates on a dial. It's funny. I actually heard Razor talking about this. He said the left operates on a dial. They turn up these actions over time. The right has a switch. That's why they try so hard not to act, because when the flip is switched, it won't end. That's why conservatives hesitate. I think that flip has been switched, and that switch has been flipped. Joey says, I'm saddened at how many people I know personally and thought were decent celebrating were decent celebrating or being indifferent to Charlie Kirk's death. This man had a family who was present at the event. They're scarred for life. Yeah, without a doubt. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Denny came in with a $50 super chat. Blabs, please. A little bit of levity for today's show. And remember what is fun. That's right, boobs. That's right. So Charlie said things that were normal 6 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. But today, we've all discovered the one true moral order. And anyone who believes, anyone who speaks out against that order needs bad things happen to them. Thank you, Denny. Appreciate that. Some direct donations. Just ridiculous support. As a little over an hour ago, and I'm sorry, Shamsa, I didn't point this out when it happened, and we don't have the notification turned on. But Shamsa donated $1,000.
Thank you so much.
I know what to do.
Developers. Yes.
I am.
Yes. Oh, Instagram Craig.
There we go. Shamsa said, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. My condolences to you all and to his family." Shamsa, thank you. And that support goes a long way in taking action. That's the whole idea. We appreciate that, Shamsa, so greatly. Ecstasy of Thinking says, the veil has been lifted. Faces of the left have been smiling, laughing, cheering. Their true self has been brought to light. So from this day, if you still don't think they wish you for your silence, you're right. In a matter of fact, they wish you dead. Aramis with the $33 direct donation 8 hours ago, by the way. And by the way, those like middle of the night donations are like fucking amazing. So thank you guys for those. Just using the link just to throw some support. Amazing. Aramis says, been under for a procedure to get samples for me and recovering. I'll miss today and Friday's show. All I can say is no child should witness their parents' death in such a form. Spend time with your loved ones. Take care, Craig, and all in the USA. Bye, Blabs. Be well. Thank you, Aramis.
Bye. Be safe.
Switzerland Plays came in with a riddle for today's show, and I appreciate it, but I think we'll hold off on that for today. I'll read it tomorrow.
We'll get tomorrow.
Denarian came in with a $20 donation, says he died under the banner that read, prove me wrong. They couldn't, so they silenced him. People don't get assassinated for being wrong. And you can bet people are going to make this about gun control. It's already started. Yeah. And the irony of all that with the gun stuff is that he was shot with a gun that side of the aisle it's not on the list of banned. It's just it's a bolt action rifle. Those are safe. Those are fine according to these people, right? And they are. Guess what? They are fine. Weissman says, remember everyone, vigilance is mine, saith the Lord. Pushing for retaliation gives the leftists what they want. Let them become the group of violence. While the Trump admin gets is the justice we crave and the normies avoid them like the plague. And so seeing what happened to Charlie was disgusting. What's even more disgusting is the fucking far left celebrating his death. Charlie didn't harm anyone maliciously. See, that's where they disagree. They think that he literally caused death. You saw that Brian Crescente, formerly of Kotaku, fuck that guy, saying, how many people did Charlie Kirk kill? While yes, we know that's where their screw is loose. Anyways, he continued, says, Charlie didn't harm anyone maliciously, and he was about peaceful debates. I absolutely despise the far left even more. Fuck him. Denarian says, agree with Phoenix. That's why I don't just care about my country's politics. I care about yours, Europe's, and Japan's politics. Too many people think locally when this is actually a global issue. I was arguing all last night with a German about this. Thank you, Tenarian. He also says, listen to Phoenix, people. I never paid for any streaming service. Don't use Amazon. And even the new games I buy, I get secondhand. It's not that hard, really. It's even easier if you don't mind pirating stuff. And Captain Ragtag came in as a tier 1 sub over on Twitch. We appreciate your support on any platform that you're watching, whether it's on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, and of course, most importantly, Side Scrollers Plus. This was a crazy show today, and but a show that I feel needed to happen. I hope that you guys found value in what we discussed today. It helped you guys, helped us, and everyone kind of help process this a little bit more. This is not going to be something that, this is going to be an ongoing thing for a long time. A lot of people are going to be help processing this, but we're going to do our best to help turn the page while still reading the chapter. I guess the best way to say it tomorrow. We'll try to get back to a normal show. We'll see what happens. We will probably mention this. I mean, when I look at like what we talk about, the culture, this is a massive cultural issue. So I think we'll continue covering this as we go along. We'll give you guys updates. We'll give you our thoughts on it. Because when it comes to, we are big on free speech. And this was a direct attack on the First Amendment. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, follow, wherever you guys are tuning in. Dragon Fist came in with a $20 super chat. The amount of vitriol coming from the left on Twitter has been insane. These are truly dark times we're living in. Fortunately, this isn't the end because Jesus is still Lord. Thank you, Dragon Fist. The user says, the most comforting thing is that I know that Christ knew about all of this from the time began. He still chose to come and die for us. He loves us that much and more. Thank you, the user. Like I said, I've never been a big like religious guy. But we talked early on about kind of, Des said this is going to push people, right? And I do think that this will, Mo said this pushed her closer to faith. I think it was Mo who said that. It's going to push her closer to her faith. It's going to push people closer to their beliefs, whatever it is. And I could, like I said, I've never been a religious guy, but you see the things that are happening and you just have this innate feeling, or at least I do, to pray. And it's like I said, there are people who are super religious. I've never been that guy, but I respect everybody's religious thoughts. But this I feel similar to Mo, in that I feel like this is kind of pushing a lot of people that way. And because of this ridiculously stupid, senseless act, ultimately more people will find God. More people will value their families. More people will hug their kids a little bit tighter. And I know that I think that it's important, especially on a day like today, 24 years ago, this heinous act happened in America. And you hear over and over again, never forget, never forget, never forget. And some people have forgot. That's the reality of the situation. You can't forget. So don't. And keep it in the back of your mind. And most importantly, never forget and take action. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of our life, allowing us to be a part of yours. We will see you guys tomorrow when we resume regular-ish programming. We do have I was closing out. I'll tell you, maybe we'll look at the Tom McDonald video tomorrow. But the rest of your day, guys. Go ahead, Phoenix.
I was just going to say real quick that we had an event that was going to be scheduled for today. We're going to reschedule that event.
Yeah. We We were going to do BMXXX with Blabs and Dez. Thank you for the reminder on that. That was going to be over on Plus. You guys watching over on Plus, surely you guys understand. We want to provide, the ability to laugh and levity, but we also want to give this an opportunity to breathe. So let's let this breathe. Let's take a breath and realize that everything's going to be fine. And you're going to be a part of the solution, not the problem. Right? Right. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. And remember, especially now, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal? Go get it. See you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Fatality.